Hello and welcome back to Happy Mind TV and welcome back to your How To Tuesdays. In today's episode, I want to talk to you all about how to stay positive. This is searched so much and used so much as a hashtag, and it trends so much about positivity and happiness, and everyone always associates my brand with yellow with happiness. And of course this is great, and I absolutely adore my branding and I love yellow, and my wedding was yellow themed and I was obsessed with yellow way before a Happy Mind. But I think there's a real misconception around what staying positive and what positivity and happiness really mean in the world outside of social media and our phones. So I want to give you some top tips about how you can stay positive, what positivity really means, and how you can actually bring more positivity into your life, into your mindset and into your thinking. So I'm going to try and give you as much fun-filled positive energy as I possibly can to this episode, whilst I still also really keep it realistic, relatable and completely honest with you. So my first mindset tip for you is positivity doesn't mean the same thing for everyone. So we need to really get that out there. I actually understand that positivity to one person means something completely different to someone else. So my first piece of mindset work for you and homework, if you want to take me up on it, is you need to actually define what positive means to you. What is positive to you? How do you feel when you feel positive? What does that word mean in your everyday life? And what emotions come up for you? Because being positive to one person will be completely different to someone else, because our perceptions, our circumstances, our relationships and our experiences are not the same from person to person, and nor do we want them to be. So things that you really need to be asking yourself is, what makes you feel more positive? What brings more positivity into your life? What does the word positive mean to you? And what emotions do you associate with positivity? That's the first and foremost activity and task that I would ask you to spend time thinking about, because until you are able to personalize positivity, you have to have a personal connection to it. It's really hard to stay positive. It's really hard to maintain this positive attitude and way of life if your version of positive is just what every other person on social media is showing you, and every other perception rather than your own. So break it down and sit with yourself and ask yourself those questions. How does positivity impact you, and what really is it to you? My second top tip for you is, positivity doesn't mean you don't go through struggles. And this is really important because, like I said, on social media, a lot of the time we see the highlight reel. And you might have heard this phrase before, but very rarely do we see the negatives of the photo. We just see the end product on this glossy paper, and it's the amazing highlight. We don't necessarily see the backstory, we don't see the content or the context to how we got there, or even the journey. So we can be made to feel really, really negative and down about the fact that someone else has just got engaged or bought a house or bought a new car or had their first 10k month or whatever it might be, but we don't know the backstory, we don't know and haven't seen the negatives to that photo, that end product. So therefore, a lot of the time, our positivity is affected by something that we have no idea about. We cannot control or even comprehend what it's taken for somebody to get to that point. Did they spend 5 years single and really, really miserable? Did they have to save for 10 years before they could buy their first house? Is the car on finance? We don't know any of these answers unless you dig a bit deeper. So the second one is to remember that positivity doesn't mean that someone doesn't or hasn't struggled. Positivity doesn't mean that you have to have all your ducks in a row all of the time and everything is perfect. It means that when you see or experience this positive energy, there is a journey behind it. And more often than not, the reason that someone is then so positive is because at the end of the struggle, it was all worth it. So when you do experience and see and have this positivity in your life, embrace it, because it means that all of the struggles you've been through or the tough times, the sacrifices, whatever it might be, you have created and have this positive outcome at the end. And it's really important to recognize that. So when you do have a goal in mind or something you're trying to achieve and accomplish, or you want to start new relationships and meet new people, think about the energy you want to bring. And this is my third top tip. Think about the energy you want to bring, because your energy will be matched with similar energy. Your personality will be matched with similar personalities, unless you're in a situation where it's really, really contrived for you. But your positivity doesn't have to be bouncing around on clouds and laughing and joking all the time. It means that you have an outlook that makes you happy. And some people that are really introverted are exceptionally positive, and some people that are extroverted are really, really miserable. So it's not about the persona you project, it's about the energy you bring. It's not about the persona you project, it's about the energy you bring. And in any situation, what you bring will be what you get back. So the third one is actually putting the others into practice. You need to know what positive means to you, and you need to understand your struggles and other people's struggles to bring the best of yourself to a situation. So how to stay positive? In any situation, you want to make sure that you are trying to bring your best energy, and that's not ignoring the fact that you've got your struggles and challenges, but it's remembering that we want to try and show people where we would be and how we want to feel in that scenario, with that person, with that relationship, when we're trying something new, whatever it might be. And that also allows you in your mindset to know what you are capable of, energetically and emotionally. So even if you are experiencing struggle or negativity, you can still bring forward your most positive energy into a situation. It just takes conscious choice. And that leads me to number 4. There is a choice involved here, and no matter how anyone puts this for you or the way they try and explain it, we all do have a choice. And this comes from my best intentions, and also knowing what it is like to feel really negative and have negativity around you and go through really, really challenging experiences. You still have a choice. You have a choice of what energy you want to match with it. Do you want to go down to that negative energy and bring yourself down? Or do you want to try and lift yourself up and change the outcome, change the situation by bringing positive energy to it? We all have those choices. And it's remembering that the choice that you make to bring your version of positive to a situation does not detract from the challenges that might have occurred beforehand. All it does is alleviate that pressure of being sucked into that negativity and allowing yourself to uplift forward. So I always imagine, and this is number 5 to do with visualizing, but I always imagine if you think of a vacuum, you can either get sucked in and then you're stuck in the vacuum, going round and round with all the dust, just circling around at the bottom there, but you can't get out. Or instead of being pulled in by the vacuum, you can push it out. So you push out that air. So instead of worrying so much about being sucked in by the negative, push out the positive and decide to say to yourself, do you know what? When I'm in this situation, I want to try and bring the positive. So even if that means that you're sat at home and something has happened and it's brought you down, you can still choose. Do you want to be sucked in by the vacuum, or do you want to try and push yourself out? Do you want to try and actually focus on your positive energy, the capable energy you can bring to a situation, the fact that the positive that you have doesn't have to be what you think and what a lot of people think through this external image. Positive to you can be whatever you want it to be. It can just be, your version of positive could be that you can leave the house and go to the shops without makeup on, and that makes you feel amazing because you've finally liberated yourself from that. It could be that you're able to drive on your own. It could be that you can hold a conversation with somebody and not bring up a certain person or a certain topic. It could be that you don't moan for a day. Being positive is your personal experience. Remember, it has to be connected to you and has to have a personal connection to you. So try as much as you can to remember there is always a journey to any amount of positivity. There is always a journey of how we've got there. And sometimes the struggle makes that positive moment even better. But remember, you do have a choice. You do have a choice whether you can get sucked in by the negative or you can push out the positive. And all that is reminding yourself is it doesn't take away from the experiences that you're having that are difficult. It just reminds you of the power that you have when you choose to push out of the negative. So when people say to me, how are you always so positive, Sam? How do you always have a smile on your face? How are you always so positive? That's not the case, but I will tell you the truth. What I do is when I have those moments of lower energy, or I have those moments of not feeling as positive, those won't be the moments that I project out, because I don't want that energy to be matched. I don't want to welcome more of that energy into my life. So I would sit with myself, I might have a bath, I might do some reading, I might have a sleep, I might watch some TV, and I would allow that negative energy to just release, to just leave me. I wouldn't focus on it. I wouldn't then try and push through it to the point of causing myself stress, but I wouldn't want to match that energy. So I would not show up online or bring to the table that negative energy, because that's what I'm going to get given back. So it's about knowing your capabilities, and I know that I'm capable of having a really positive impact on the world and on the people that I serve. So that's the energy that I want to make sure I focus on, and that's the energy that I will choose. I will choose to bring that energy forward and push that energy out, rather than getting sucked in by the negative and being stuck in the vacuum, and then you can't get out. Once you bring that negative energy out and it's matched by others, it's really, really hard to get away from, because people then associate that energy with where you're at, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So this is a really, really different way for you to start seeing the concept of how to stay positive. How to stay positive doesn't mean that you have marshmallows and rainbows all around you. You have to work out what positive means to you and use that as your benchmark to then push yourself out rather than get sucked in by the negative. And also think about the journey, how we've got there, appreciating it, and just remembering that when people ask you the question, how do you stay positive? That actually is a compliment, because it means that you're matching the energy that you want to project. You're matching the energy that you want to put forward and put out into the world. And people are associating that positive energy with you. And remember, the energy you put out is the energy that is matched and brought back to you, and then it exaggerates and grows. So if you put out that negative energy that we're trying to move past, that's the energy that's going to come back, and that will just exacerbate this negative feeling or emotion or time. So remember, you have that choice. And remember to use that positive energy and seek out what matches it. But your positive energy won't be the same as someone else's, and that is what it should be like. We shouldn't all be experiencing it in exactly the same way. But I do really hope this has given you some food for thought and some reflections, and allowed you to see positivity in a different way, and in a way that you can relate to. That's what I always want. I want this to be relatable and realistic for you, and I would absolutely love you to like and subscribe to this channel and get involved in comments and talking to me and letting me know what your version of positive is. And I cannot wait to see you back at A Happy Mind TV for another How To Tuesday.